all the pieces together, Brian, to make this team. I wouldn't dare say they're better than the 94 Cup team because that Cup team in 94 was loaded. But this Rangers team does have some similarities to that team in 94. And considering that they have one of the best goaltenders in the game right now, and it's going to be an interesting matchup between him and Jonathan Quick in the Stanley Cup Finals, it's hard to say who can win how this series is going to go, rather. But I do like the Rangers' chances because now they're getting a much, much more formidable opponent at Jonathan Quick. And seeing that the Rangers do have a lot of speed and power up front, this will be a very good test for them, especially in the first game. The first two games rather out there in Los Angeles.
Compare this team to the 94 team that won it all against Vancouver in a 7-game series. You mentioned there are some similarities between this team and the 94 team. What are a couple of the similarities that you see between the two Rangers teams?
One is the goaltending. The goaltending is one of them because Henrik Lundqvist and Mike Richter both have similar. They both put up similar numbers in those respective seasons. I mean, Richter was lights out in that 94 season, and Lundqvist is almost duplicated what Richter did 20 years ago. So the goaltending is one thing. The players are another thing. Martin St. Louis has had a great series, had a great playoff run, and they are some similar to him and Brian Leach, a host of other players the Rangers have had, like Rick Nash. They have just beaten the opposition by a combination of speed and smart play up front. You look at the hitting they've also done in the series with Montreal. They pretty much have sustained everything that's been thrown at them. But this Kings team can definitely pose some challenges, and that's something about my concerns is how well the Rangers can handle the adversity of going on the road and having to play 2 tough games down in L.A. where the fans are going to be rocking, and knowing that they also have a nice goaltender and Quick and a couple of them sharpshooters and Kings boast. This will be an interesting thing to confound, Brian. I wouldn't call favorites yet, but of course, as a Rangers fan, I'm definitely thinking the Rangers can win it, but the question is what will it come down to? I think it's going to be goaltending, but we've seen playoff series already where goaltending doesn't really mean much if you're not scoring. So if you have an offense that can score, then the goaltending doesn't matter. So I think if Hornquist is going to continue to play lights out, then I like the Rangers' chances of winning this series, at least 6 games. Let's
go back to the East Finals where the Rangers had a 6-game conquest of the Montreal Canadiens. So let's just take a look at the Rangers' playoff run in general. If you could point back to a game or a series that got the Rangers on a roll, which series or game would that be?
I would have to hands down, Brian, it's the series against the Penguins. If you look at what that series was about, they were down, picture this, the Rangers were down 3-1, staring at the end of their season, looking like they were a team that was going nowhere, not focused, not determined, no sense of urgency, and then look what happened. They woke up the last 4 games of that series, the last 3 games of that series, and they just turned on the Jets, and ever since they have been locked in. And that's where I think it all started, because the Penguins were a team that was supposed to beat the Rangers in 3 or 4 games, 5 games rather, and they didn't get the job done. They were wide open for the Rangers, and they got through it. And that allowed the Rangers to get through the next round, which is Montreal, which was also a tough opponent because they knocked off a pretty good team in the Boston Bruins to get to their East Final. And then once the Rangers kept going at it with Montreal and making the plays they needed to make, then you had a sense that, okay, perhaps this could be the year the Rangers can make the run. And I think, again, it all started with that Penguins series when they knocked off Pittsburgh and they got a thrill. And they came all the way back. They won 9 straight games, Brian, on the road en route to doing so. That's never been heard of. So when you win games like that, that usually means a team that's built to win a Stanley Cup. And right now, I don't see how the Rangers cannot be the team to be the favorite right now to win it all.
The 9-game winning streak on the road that you mentioned matches one of the teams that had that record. That team was Chicago. The year was 1992 when, unfortunately, we lost to the Penguins in a four-game sweep. But I agree with you. Going back to that Pittsburgh series, you know, everybody counted them out. Even the folks in New York counted them out. But then they woke up and they got everything going. They beat Montreal in 6 games. I want you to take a peek with me at the West Final. Yes, the Kings won. And you have to give the Kings a lot of credit. The first team, I believe, to win 3 7th games all on the road at San Jose, at Anaheim, and at Chicago. That is just simply unheard of in a playoff run that could be determined by any little factor. And after the Blackhawks tied the series at 3 games apiece, you know they had to have all the confidence going into the 7th game Sunday night at the United Center.
Yes, even though they had a major league meltdown in the previous game, and you figured the Blackhawks had all the momentum going into that game last night. But, Brian, you could sense that there was a bit of a problem with the Blackhawks. The way the teams kept coming back, the Blackhawks did have a 2-0 lead. They lost that. They went up 3-2. They lost that lead. They went up 4-3. And they lost that lead. So you had a feeling that the Kings were coming back in there with a sense of urgency because they were not willing to let another meltdown happen like they did the other night, Friday night rather. So they knew that this game was one they could not afford to let pass. And even though the Blackhawks had all the momentum, the home ice, it just seemed like the Kings were just more determined and more focused because they knew what they were up against. And we've seen already this playoff season, Brian, teams have gone up by a 3-1 count or a 3-2 or what have you. And we just mentioned the Rangers and Penguins, and teams have blown those 3-1 leads and ultimately lost. So the teams were not looking to have that happen to them and not fall wayside to what's been going on this postseason. So they came out with that urgency, and you just had a feeling, well, the Kings are still keeping pace with this, so it sounded like they might have a shot here. It may not be all the Blackhawks what they were expecting, but the Kings ultimately made the plays down the stretch, quickly made some beautiful saves. In fact, as I was listening to the game on WGN radio last night, the Blackhawks call, Jonathan Quick, the guy, I think it was John Wiedemann with the play-by-play announcer. He said
yes.
That one save that he made in between the pipes with 5 seconds left, he said, quote, that was the game right there.
He did.
Because the Blackhawks had a clean shot at that puck, and had he had tapped it through between his legs, that would have been the game winner. So the Blackhawks had plenty of chances as well to ice the game, but they couldn't make them, and Quick came up big, and that ultimately let the door open for the Kings, and they took advantage.
And, again, Jonathan Quick repeated in Game 7 what Corey Crawford did at the end of Game 6, and he came up with some absolutely brilliant saves. Again, kudos to the Kings. They're the Western Conference champs. One more note before we get out of here. You and I talked about this, Mike, before we went on air. These Blackhawks are going to be around for a long time. The way this team is built, they are very young, they are very fast, they are very skilled. From 2009, when ownership changed, Western Conference Finals in 2009. They won the Cup in 2010. 2 quarterfinal losses, 11 and 12 to Vancouver and to Phoenix. They won the Cup last year, and then a couple shots away from going back to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2014. This is a team that is going to compete for a Cup for a long time, the way they're built.
Well, that's what you would think, Brian, when you change ownership and management around with a franchise. You want to build a team that's going to contend year in and year out for a Stanley Cup championship. And as you just mentioned, the Blackhawks did just what they were supposed to do. And now, look, they're one of the better teams in the Western Conference. Don't forget, this was a Blackhawks team that for many years, before that aforementioned 2009 season, were kind of a joke in the Western Conference.
Yeah,
kind
they were.
Of a joke in most of hockey because nobody cared about the Blackhawks in that city. But now, they have become one of the talks of the town, and that's become a staple now, and that's something that you need for a franchise. You want to have a team that competes year in and year out. You want to have the players that can help get you to that next round. I mean, look what they've had over the last several years. The Blackhawks in the finals. I mean, who would have thought that this was going to be the case with the Chicago Blackhawks? Now, it's like, but here's the thing. Now you have experienced the success, Brian. The expectations is going to be much greater now because now the fans like yourself are going to be expecting them each year to continue this uphill. They don't want to see them going down on that. They don't need to be digressing. They need to progress and keep progressing because now they're going to be expected to compete every single year for a Stanley Cup. Into the Western Conference Finals is not bad, but that's ultimately not what they have in mind. That's not the ultimate goal. You want to win it all, and that's what this team and this franchise and this fan base is going to be expecting for the next couple of years. So as long as they have the right ownership and the management in place, Brian.
Michael Lyle joining us here on Lyle Files this afternoon as we come to you live from downtown Chicago. The Lyle Files are presented by Woodforest Bank. You're the official bank of the Arena Sports Network, and by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. Michael Lyle, always a pleasure, my friend. Can't wait to talk to you in a week's time.
You got it, sir. Always a pleasure. Have a great Monday, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, brother.
You got it.
Let's take a look at something that that Mike said before we go to a break. He mentioned something that is very, very true. When ownership changes, like in the case of the Blackhawks, and you have the success that they've had, you're going to be expected to compete every single year for a Stanley Cup. Every single year. Again, look at the pedigree that has been set already that's been set already for the Blackhawks. 2009, they get to the West Finals. They lose in 5 games to Detroit. They learn a lesson. Taken into the following year, Patrick Kane with the overtime game winner. Hawks are Stanley Cup champions. 2011, we take Vancouver to 7 games in the Western Conference quarterfinals against the eventual Western Conference champions. 2012, Phoenix Coyotes, we take them 6 games. Bunch of injuries, okay? Bunch of injuries. But we still go 6 games with Phoenix, and we were in a little bit of a fog then in that series. But 2013, strike-shortened season, didn't matter. Hawks led the Western Conference from start to finish. They win the Stanley Cup in 6 games, and they were just a couple of goals away from returning to the Stanley Cup Finals. And this is a young team. You already know the faces of the Blackhawks. That's Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. Each has won a Conn Smythe trophy. All right? The question is probably going to be goaltending. Are you going to keep Corey Crawford around for a while, or are you going to look for some able backups, or eventually are you going to replace Corey Crawford? That's one of the few questions that the Blackhawks have to answer. And I say few because they already have a lot in place. We're overdue for a break. Let me take a pause and come back. When we come back, more on the Western Conference Finals, more on the Blackhawks and what they are going to do going forward, and a quick preview of the Stanley Cup Finals, and maybe a preview of the NBA Finals if I feel like talking about it. It involves a team I do not like. I will tell you all of that in a deuce. This is the Afternoon Locker Room, live from Starbucks in downtown Chicago. You're hearing it on the Arena Sports Network, y'all.
Have you heard the good news about a crazy dream based on a belief that positive breeds positive, and that people want to read, hear, and watch stuff about good people? Have you heard the good news about a place you can go to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region you live in and the people involved? Have you heard the good news about a place where you can celebrate what is right in the world, share it with your friends, family, and community, and neighbors at school, work, or place of worship, and have fun doing it? Well, there is such a place. That place is LaPorteCountyLife.com. LaPorteCountyLife.com is all about the positive, not the negative, bringing out the best and not the worst, and all about promoting positivity in your community. LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? Get your best price on Ford trucks, Focus, F-150, Explorer, Escape, and Lincoln MKS, MKT, MKX, MKZ, as well as Fiesta, Fusion, Taurus, Mustang, Navigator, and all other new Ford Lincoln vehicles at the all-new Sowers Ford & Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer. We offer new and used Ford Lincoln vehicles, parts, service, and used cars. If you are in Northwest Indiana or near Michigan City, LaPorte, Hobart, Burns Harbor, Valparaiso, Chesterton, South Bend, or Portage, there is no comparison to the other dealers around town. We are about to earn your business with top quality service and the most competitive pricing in Indiana. Stop by today at 3930 Franklin Street in Michigan City, or give us a call at 219-879-5381. That's 219-879-5381. Or visit us online at www.sowersauto.com. Sowers Ford Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and appurtenance. Is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
It's crowded here in Starbucks this afternoon, folks. There's a bunch of kids in front of me that are getting all the sugar that they can. I don't know why they're getting all this sugar right now, but they're enjoying themselves. It's a great day outside weather-wise. We had rain fly through here. I hope nobody got wet in the process. Afternoon Locker Room presented by LaPorteCountyLife.com, and also this afternoon by Starbucks of downtown Chicago on State and Adams. Talking Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, I'm disappointed. I've been a Blackhawks fan since 1990. And I got a story about that, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But you know what? You can only be proud of these Blackhawks because, remember, they got socked in the mouth against St. Louis, down 2-0. They win the next 4 and get the first 2 against Minnesota. So you got to think about how this Blackhawks team have responded all year dealing with the injuries. Now remember, we lost Patrick Kane for the final 2 weeks of the season. We lost Jonathan Taves right after the Olympics. Corey Crawford went down for a while. Brent Seabrook went down for a while. So with all the injuries that the Blackhawks have had, and also a shot in the mouth against St. Louis, losing the first 2 games, and then we eventually punched St. Louis in the mouth. We kicked him in the groin, gave him a smack across the face, and won the next 4 and clinched that series. And there's a young lady in front of me that is pinching cheeks, and I don't know why she's doing that. That's just not fair. I'm seeing some of the best things. Now I see there's a young lady in front of me that has the coolest sunglasses. They're let me see. I have some red and blue sunglasses in front of me. They remind me of, these are London glasses. Okay, they have the London flag on them. I was going to compare them to a certain team here. I'm not going to do it. Now that I know what they are, I will hand these back. Like I said, big crowd here today. Now, I got all these kids in front of me getting sugar, listening to our show. Find us on TuneIn. Go to the TuneIn app and search the Arena Sports Network. You hear a replay of this as we're live here in downtown Chicago talking all things hockey. It's the Kings and the Rangers for the Stanley Cup, and I know I'm going to be asked for a prediction. I know for a fact I'm going to be asked for a prediction. I will do that toward the end of the show. Again, our congratulations to the Los Angeles Kings. They won in 7, and I'm awaiting a confirmation. I believe they became the first team in NHL playoff history to win not 1, not 2, but 3 7th games all on the road. They won at San Jose, they won at Anaheim, and they won here in Chicago last night. And I believe they also became the 4th team to play all 21 games, the maximum 21 games before reaching the Stanley Cup Finals. But Michael Lyle said it best when he was on the line with me, and all of our guests appear on the Afternoon Locker Room appear courtesy of the Cricket Wireless Hotline. Jonathan Quick made 2 key saves in the 3rd period last night. The biggest save of the series came with 5 seconds left in regulation. If Patrick Kane gets that on his stick, he punches it in, and it's the Blackhawks that go on. But Jonathan Quick recovered and made the save, and John Weideman said it best on the call on WGN. He said that, quote, that was the game. And it was. And the Kings get the tap in, 5:47 into overtime. They get the winner. But this Blackhawks team is built to compete for a while, a long while. Again, you know the faces of the franchise already. One of them wears 19, that's Jonathan Taves, and the other wears 88, that's Patrick Kane. The same young lady that was pinching somebody's cheeks in front of me does not know what the hell I'm talking about right now, even though I've made it obvious for the past 5 minutes. I'm joking as I say that. We're here in the afternoon locker room, live in downtown Chicago. We're presented by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. Stop in and get your favorite drink. Summer is here. Bourbon Rio Verde Brazil tea is here at Starbucks. So stop by, say hi, and get your favorite. Okay. I'm going to switch gears and talk a little basketball here, but I'm not going to talk about it in the way that people expected me to. The NBA Finals are set, and the only thing I will say is that it's a rematch of last year, and I hated the result last year because I was so pulling for San Antonio to win, and San Antonio got bleeping robbed in Game 6. All right? I have so many people that have emailed me, and I know they joke when they do this, and they continue to email me, saying, you know, San Antonio did not get robbed. They didn't finish the job. You want to bet they got robbed, okay? They're not getting robbed this time because the Spurs have home court advantage. The first 2 in San Antonio, the next 3, I believe it's a 2-3-2. I don't know if they changed the format. They were talking about it earlier in the season. First 2 are in Texas, the next 3 are in Florida, and the final 2 are in Texas. And here we go with the cheek pinching again. Don't y'all know y'all gonna ruin that kid's cheeks? Well, there's a young lady with the Queens shirt on. So just because she's wearing a shirt that says Queens, it does not give her the right to pinch a guy's cheeks the way that she was doing. That's just not fair. That's just not fair, and that's just not right. Now she's trying to pass the blame on somebody else. We're here on the Afternoon Locker Room here in downtown Chicago talking NBA Finals. You know what's going on. It's the Heat and the Spurs in a rematch, and this time the Spurs have home court advantage. Let me talk about the Eastern Conference Finals for a moment, because Indiana had no business being the number 1 seed. They backed into that because Miami could not close the remainder of the regular season. They lost 3 of their last 4. Indiana picked up 2 wins in the final games of the year, and they backed into the number 1 seed. They sure did not play like it in the playoffs. They did not play like it in the playoffs. 7 games against Atlanta, 6 against Washington, 6 against Miami. They did not at all look like the dominant team that started the season 33-7. And the first question that is going to be asked, what happened to Roy Hibbert? Roy Hibbert disappeared in the playoffs. When you have Kyle Korver blocking your shot on consecutive possessions in Game 4 of the first round, and then you get John Wall blowing by you, you're not a dominant center, period. Now, anyone who knows me or knows of me knows my feeling about LeBron James. They're trying to compare him to Michael Jordan. Please stop doing that, because there is no comparison to MJ, period. MJ was the original 23. That's how I feel. That's how it's going to stay. But I will give credit where credit is due, and I will say this. After a 7-point performance in Game 5 in Indianapolis, I said to myself that LeBron James needed to be angry. He needed to come out and play angry in Game 6. Boy, did he ever. 25 points, and he was driving to the basket recklessly. 25 points for LeBron in Game 6 in the clincher, and the Heat blew out the Pacers 117-92. Now, there's a backup factor to that. LeBron James played angry. Indiana played soft. Look at the Pacers' history in elimination games. The first game I will start with is 1999 against New York. The Knicks were an 8 seed. The Pacers were a 1 seed then. And the Pacers got socked in the mouth in the first game in Indianapolis when New York took that one by 10. They wound up winning in 6 games. Same thing that happened in Game 6 in Miami happened in 1999. The only time they were a number 1 seed and they actually completed the job was 2000 when they got to the finals, and then Shaquille O'Neal beat them up for 6 games. Now, just got word yesterday that Frank Vogel will be back for a 5th season as Indiana's head coach. All right? That's the good news. The bad news is they need to blow that roster up. Lance Stevenson was so out of character, it's not even funny. And you have to wonder if Stevenson's going to stick around for another year with the way that he played. You also have to wonder if the Pacers have to bring in anybody to help them. Here's one thing that the Pacers need. That is a true point guard, because George Hill is not it. You need a point guard the caliber of Russell Westbrook. You need a point guard the caliber of Tony Parker. You need a point guard, and I'm going to use this example. People are going to hate me for doing it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. You need a point guard the caliber of Derrick Rose. And Indiana just does not have it right now. Hell, neither does Miami, but somehow LeBron James brings the ball up. Dwayne Wade brings the ball up. If Chris Bosh is hitting shots, there's trouble that night. Then you have some fella named Norris Cole who can bring the ball up as well. Miami has ball handlers. Miami can get into their offense. What should frighten the daylights out of San Antonio is if they are all in rhythm. And we saw it last year in the finals. When Miami gets on a roll and they get into rhythm, I referenced Game 4 of the finals last year, and they come out firing. They're hard to stop. They are absolutely hard to stop. What's going to be the most interesting thing is Tony Parker's injury. He injured his ankle in Game 6 at Oklahoma City, which was an overtime win for San Antonio, and San Antonio is so lucky to win in Game 6, because if they had to see a Game 7, they wouldn't have seen Parker, period. So Parker gets a chance to rest and come back, and I think he'll be ready. I think he'll be ready for Game 1. I really think he'll be ready for Game 1. What's going to really get things going for San Antonio, they remember what happened last year. they remember that somehow Miami got inspired when they brought out the yellow tape around the arena because they expected the celebration to happen, and it didn't happen because Miami somehow rallied and the referees swallowed their whistle. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is just one man's opinion. Miami won Game 6 and Game 7, and they're the ones celebrating when it should have been San Antonio, period. This time, the first two games are in Texas. I do not see Miami winning a game in San Antonio this year. I just don't see it. But then again, I said the same thing about the Dallas Mavericks, and I was wrong. I was dead wrong. But that's the Dallas Mavericks, not the Miami Heat. I don't see Miami winning I don't see Miami winning one in Texas. And I've said this about every final series the past 10 years, and I'm going to continue to say it. The first team to steal a road game will steal the series. And I thought it would hold true last year when San Antonio stole Game 1. And everybody knows how I feel about that. Afternoon Locker Room brought to you in part by LaPorteCountyLife.com. Visit LaPorteCountyLife.com for more information and to post your good news. LaPorte County Life, have you heard the good news? We're here at Starbucks in downtown Chicago. Stop in, say hi, get your favorite drinks, and enjoy the weather. Starbucks here in downtown Chicago. We got a lot of folks in here, and they all just came out of nowhere. Look, folks, they all just came out of nowhere. All these kids just showed up. They're having so much fun here, and I'm so happy for them. Now, anyone who has followed the NBA playoffs knows about the Donald Sterling scandal, which is still going on right now, and I think this crowd's about to clear out, and they're getting ready to clear out right now. Anybody who has followed the NBA knows about the Donald Sterling scandal. Well, we just recently heard and found out that the Clippers were sold for $2 billion. $2 billion. First of all, are they even worth $2 billion? That's my question. Second of all, is this scandal really over? Is the turmoil really over? Because they canceled the meeting that was set for tomorrow to try to vote Sterling out, and he winds up being bought out. But now they still have the upper hand, they meaning the Sterlings, because they want to negotiate on their terms. Okay, why are you trying to negotiate on your terms when Donald Sterling couldn't keep his foot out of his mouth in the first place? That's what started all this. And then all the revelations that came out in his professional and his personal life, now the team has been sold. Commissioner Adam Silver acted fast, acted swiftly, got everything done, and this scandal is far from finished. Now, I saw a post on Facebook before I came on today that he meaning Sterling, attended a black church. Like that's going to help his character in any way. It really isn't. And the stupid part is he's trying to save his character, which was ruined the moment he decided to open his mouth. When he opened his mouth, the ball game was over. Period. And now all this has happened. You know, you just have to wonder how much longer this is going to go on. You have to wonder how much longer this is going to go on. And you also have to wonder, not just is there an end in sight, you have to wonder, how are the players feeling right now? How is the coaching staff feeling right now about this? Because quite honestly, I don't see a solution anytime soon. I don't. And I know for a fact, or we know for a fact, there won't be one now coming up. You have to wonder how scary this situation is going to be. you have to wonder how much longer this situation is going to go on and how many more times Donald Sterling is going to make an absolute fool of himself, which he has and will continue to do. Because if this keeps up, it's going to hurt the league in many more ways, if it hasn't already. If it hasn't already. Afternoon Locker Room presented in part by Wood Forest Bank. Wood Forest Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. Wood Forest Bank, visit woodforest.com for more information. Pause for a break. When we come back, take a look at this day in history as we're live from Starbucks in downtown Chicago. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room 5 days a week, beginning at 4 Eastern. Hearing it live on the Arena Sports Network. We'll be back.
Have you heard the good news about a company that started 4 years ago and worked at a relentless pace based entirely upon one simple premise? Have you heard the good news about a place you can go to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved? Have you heard the good news that you yourself can share stories about this same theme to others in your community? That place is LaPorteCountyLife.com. At LaPorteCountyLife.com, you can celebrate a company that had a crazy dream based on a belief that positive breeds positive, and that people want to read, hear, and watch stuff about good people. At LaPorteCountyLife.com, you can go to a place to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved. Want to see more? Want to read more? Want to hear more? Then go to LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news?
What is the Times Media Company? The Times Media Company is a vital and integral part of the Northwest Indiana region. We are the #1 source of news and information and pledge to not only be the first to bring you news through our online platforms, but also be the best at taking you deeper into the stories that matter in your lives through all our products. From our daily print newspaper to specialty publications to online and mobile sites, we connect people with content that informs, entertains, and engages. More than just local content, but content that is important to local people. For more information, log into NWI.com or call 219-933-3200. The Times Media Company. We are where you need us to be.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and appurtenance. Is the lady in the house, then? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Back in downtown Chicago at Starbucks, Brian Snow here with you. Here on the Afternoon Locker Room, we thank you for joining us. We had a big crowd in here earlier, but they all got their sugar and they cleared out. I got the feeling we'll have another crowd in here in a moment. You can catch us 5 days a week, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time. Go to arenasportsnet.com, click on air, and you'll hear the Afternoon Locker Room. The archives will be available immediately after the show. And beginning Wednesday, archives of our show will be available via iTunes. More on that in just a moment. Got a couple of strange stories for you on the way, and a preview of the second half of the show. We'll talk some more hockey. High school baseball report at 17 after the second hour. And I'm going to answer a question that everybody has been asking me. Why have I been away from the microphone for so long? So long. All right. Are we going to get to the strange stories now? Nope. We're going to do This Day in History. And This Day in History, today is Monday, June 2nd. This Day in History brought to you by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. We began in 1883, and the first baseball game under electric lights was played in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A little bit later on in 1935, George Herman Ruth, a.k.a. Babe Ruth, announced that he was retiring from baseball. 6 years after that, in 1941, Lou Gehrig died in New York of the degenerative disease. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. ALS is the initials. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. There, I got it right on the first try. 1948, the NHL announced that the Art Ross Trophy would be awarded annually to the scoring leader. Elmer Lach of the Montreal Canadiens was the first winner with 61 points in the 47-48 year. In 1959, Ted Williams of the Boston Red Sox got his 2,500th hit of his career. All these facts courtesy of OnThisDay.com. 1990, and this is the post you probably read on the website, Randy Johnson, the big unit, achieved the first no-hitter in Seattle Mariner history. There have been a couple of more thrown, including a perfect game for the first time 2 years ago, thrown by the King, Felix Hernandez. In 1995, Hideo Nomo got his first major league victory. A year after that, Tim Belcher, then of the Kansas City Royals, won his 100th career game. And in 2000, one of my favorite players of all time, the crime dog, Fred McGriff, he was with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time, became the 31st major league player to hit 400 career home runs. And that is this day in sports history, courtesy of OnThisDay.com and presented by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. We're going to take a break, and we come back. I got a couple of strange stories, including a recipe that involves the very place that I'm in general. It occurred in a different place, but wait till you hear this. Back in a moment.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster Hitting Stations. Slugmaster Hitting Stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors, teams or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster baseball and softball hitting aids, turning batters into hitters.
Looking for a reason to visit U.S. Tire and Auto in Gary, Indiana? Our customers gave us 5 of them. The high standards of quality service and parts, lifetime warranties, a strong business built on honesty and integrity. They've been servicing the Gary community since 1991 and the largest auto and light truck tire dealer in the city of Gary, Indiana. We have a variety of products and services that are instrumental to the health of your car, including our tire fitment guide to help you find the correct size tires for your automobile. Our friendly service staff will quickly outfit your vehicle with a high-quality tire that is right for you. Check out our tire and wheel catalog to give your vehicle the perfect fit. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 219-884-4600 or visit us online at www.ustire-auto.com.
At Strack & Van Til, we just made saving on groceries even easier with our new building blocks of value. Just look for the new icons all around the store to find our weekly advertised specials, everyday smart buys, exclusive limited time offers, new lower prices, and even extra rewards. These bright, colorful icons are all about building honest, uncomplicated value, one block at a time, and giving you more ways to save every day. To learn more, visit ValueMeansMore.com today.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and appurtenance. Is the lady in the house, then? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Sherry Lynn and Brian Pringone are my producers. And thank you both very much for contributing to this portion of the afternoon locker room. And I've got to do this plug because my buddy is here today working. This portion of the afternoon locker room presented in part by Kukla's Cupcakes, taking gourmet cupcakes to the next level. Want to order some cupcakes? And I'm telling you right now, these are the most sinful and the most delicious cupcakes that I've ever had. I had a chance to sample a couple. Call 773-672-9751 or visit facebook.com/Kukla's Cupcakes. And I guarantee you, if you have one of these cupcakes, you're gonna want more. Believe me, I'm gonna have some more as well. Also, we're brought to you this afternoon by Starbucks of downtown Chicago, home of what's becoming my favorite drink, the Venti Mocha. Stop in and get yours today. Someone just gave me a strange look for mentioning the Venti Mocha. Doggone it, it's good. They put chocolate in it. I don't drink coffee, okay? Anyone who knows me or knows of me, I don't drink coffee. I tried it once, and it had the reverse effect. But I came in here one day, and I tried a Venti Mocha, and yeah, and it's my friend Toc's fault. He got me hooked on that drink, and now I can't stop drinking it. Back to the cupcakes, you can also visit Robert's new website, KuklaSCupcakes.com. That's Kuklas Cupcakes.com. Kukla's Cupcakes, taking gourmet cupcakes to the next level. Once again, call 773-672-9751. Second half of Afternoon Locker Room is on the way here from downtown Chicago. Got more NBA Finals talk for you. We'll take a peek back in history. We have a high school baseball report coming, including what we have coming up. And what we have coming up on Thursday is the Lincoln Way West sectional in Class 3A doubleheader. 4 and 6:30 are the games. Lamont will take on Ileana Christian at 4. Manteno and Morgan Park at 6:30 from Lincoln Way West Stadium. Yours truly will be joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Mark Farina, who has been absolutely wonderful in this. Let me say hi to a buddy of mine, Joshua Jackson, my dear friend, listening from Jacksonville, Florida. As mentioned, Sherry Lynn and Brian Payon, our producers this afternoon. And Sherry gives me some of the best stories. She sends them to me. And one of them that I do have, and I know she's going to love me for mentioning this, she sent me this story concerning the very franchise that I'm in, which is Starbucks. It's not this particular location; it's another location. And I'm reading this, and I still can't believe it. Sherry sent me this story of a 128-ounce Frappuccino offered by Starbucks, and I just had a gentleman turn around and just shake his head. This is courtesy of the Daily Meal. The article reads as follows: And you thought your Starbucks was unhealthy. To celebrate the free drink offer that accompanies buying 12 Starbucks orders with your gold card, a man who goes by his coffee shop customer name of Andrew decided to take his drink order to the next level. Oh boy, this has words in it that even I can't pronounce, and I get paid to pronounce these words. Andrew ordered you ready for this one? A 128-ounce sexagentuple vanilla bean mocha frappuccino for $54.75, setting the record for most expensive Starbucks creation ordered with the free drink offer. You're probably wondering what is in this monstrosity. This is what's in it, and this is what got my attention, and this is what got me laughing. A venti vanilla bean caramel frappuccino, 60 shots of espresso, mocha, white mocha, and caramel drizzle. Let me read that again. 60 shots of espresso. That is 4.5 grams of caffeine and just 5.5 grams away from a lethal overdose, according to Popular Science. The Mayo Clinic has stated that more than half a gram of caffeine per day can result in a quickened heartbeat, tremors, and severe insomnia. But don't worry, Andrew told consumers that he only drank 1/3 of his creation and saved the rest for later. I would hope so. Starbucks representative said, quote, "This type of beverage order is totally excessive and not something we encourage people to do. Anybody with any kind of sense would not have this kind of drink." Representative told Seattle Weekly News, which is where, of course, Starbucks was born, Seattle, Washington. After they make that beverage, it's pretty inedible, nor is it safe. They get excited about that birthday beverage, but they had a little too much fun with it. You want to hear the name again? It is a 100, let me find it again, a 128-ounce Sexagentuple Vanilla Bean Mocha Frappuccino. 128 ounces. Hell no! There's no way I would drink 128 ounces of, you know what, as much fun as I would love to have with that, it's just not going to happen. How do you drink 128 ounces of Frappuccino? You don't. Not in one sitting, you don't. You just don't do that. You just don't do that. Okay? And I told myself some years ago when Starbucks really began to get popular that I would never, ever, 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 ever have Starbucks. Well, guess where I am? I'm sitting in the middle of a Starbucks, and I've had a few samples of the drinks, including a mocha frappuccino, which is absolutely divine. But I only have that when I absolutely need a sugar rush. Or I have this venti mocha that I had in front of me about an hour and a half ago. But 60 shots of espresso. You know what espresso is, right, folks? It's pure caffeine. And this guy put 60 shots of espresso in his drink. Even on my sleepiest day, I would have to have done back-to-back-to-back games without food or water to want 128 ounces of Frappuccino and 60 shots of espresso. I don't even do espresso, for God's sakes. Although they did give me a shot in this venti mocha. That's the only shot I will have. This is the strangest story that I have gotten, and I want to thank my producer, Sherry, for sending this to me. But 120... Listen, I got a friend in Knox, Indiana. Her name is Denise. She absolutely adores Starbucks. I don't think and she's got two wonderful sons, Michael and Maxwell, or as I like to call them, Maxie. As much of a chocoholic as she is, I don't even think she would have 128 ounces of Frappuccino. That's unheard of, and that's unnecessary. 128 ounces. You know what it would take for someone? I mean, yeah, you get the birthday drink every year if you're a Starbucks member, which I am, and I have been for 2 years. You get the birthday drink every year. But wow! And then I saw a picture of this on Facebook, and it was sent to me, and I took a look at this thing. Holy cow! And I'm just coming off of defeating diabetes for about a year. Even I wouldn't touch that. Not with that much sugar. Not a chance. Not a chance. I'd be in such a coma. It's not even funny. You know what, folks? What would you try a drink like that? Give me your thoughts. Tweet me at Arena Sportsnet and at Afternoon Locker and let me know. Would you try a 128-ounce Frappuccino with 60 shots of espresso? I pretty much know the answer, but I wanted to be sure. Oh, gracious. We're due for a break, but we're going to stay here and give you a preview of the second half of the show. We're going to talk more about the Western Conference Finals, the unfortunate finish that happened in overtime last night in the United Center, but a lot of fans in Chicago are happy with the Blackhawks this season, the way it turned out. We had a night drive recap scheduled. Unfortunately, I was not able to cut it in time, but we'll have some more of that. In fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pause for a break, and when we come back, I have a replay of the Skinny on Sports that was scheduled to air but never got a chance to air because we had some technical difficulties that we're still ironing out. Find us on TuneIn. If you go to TuneIn.com and search the Arena Sports Network, I got a couple of other strange stories to tell you, including one, and I'll do this when we get back. More strange stories, including one about John Elway's son. Strange as it may be, apparently it's a true story, and it's a scary one. Second half of the Afternoon Locker Room on the way.
Planning an upcoming event? The completely refurbished Diamond Club at U.S. Steel Yard is available year-round for birthday parties, wedding receptions, business meetings, conferences, and a wide variety of other activities. With a full-service bar and the ability to accommodate groups of up to 300 people, the Diamond Club is the perfect place to host your next event. Fully customizable food options through Aramark are also available. Call the Railcats at 219-882-2255 and have the Railcats fashion an event your friends, family, clients, or colleagues will never forget. The Gary South Shore Railcats, redefining fun.
Hey everyone, Ed Farmer here. As a closing pitcher for the Sox in 1980, I racked up 30 saves, the Sox record at the time. But thanks to a life-saving kidney transplant in 1991 from my brother Tom, someone else helped save me. Just like my organ donor, you too can give someone a second chance at life. In fact, as a registered organ donor, you can help save the lives of more than 25 people. Be a team player. Register to be an organ and tissue donor at DonateLifeIllinois.org.
Register today to be an organ and tissue donor at DonateLifeIllinois.org.
At Stragan Van Til, we think differently about groceries. We always have. So what does that mean? It means better, fresher, focused on you. Your neighborhood store that gives you more. It's quality, selection, the variety you want. Choice meats, deli, bakery, your one-stop shop. Everything on your list and all for less. With the savings you deserve and unbeatable service, that's different. That's built around you, and that's your Stragan Van Til.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and appurtenance. Is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Second half of the Afternoon Locker Room rolling live from downtown Chicago. Find us on TuneIn. Go to TuneIn.com and search the Arena Sports Network. That's where you'll find us. Oh, so much to get the fans caught up on. So much. All right. We'll do our best over the course of this week to get everybody updated because there's a lot of stories that we missed. And we're sorry we didn't get a chance to bring them to you. But anyone that is just tuning us in, and let me do this. Second half of today's show brought to you by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. Also brought to you in part by Kukla's Cupcakes, taking gourmet cupcakes to the next level. Contact Robert Kukla at 773-672-9751. All right. This is one of the coolest stories that I found. And it involves Boise State. They requested permission to help a homeless recruit His name is Antoine Turner, and he's a 21-year-old football player that will transfer from Fullerton Junior College to Boise State, and he's less than a couple of weeks away from doing that. He'll get his full tuition picked up and a chance to continue playing football. The other part of the story is, and this is according to FoxSports.com, Turner is currently homeless in Southern California, and there's nothing Boise State or its fans can do for its help. Well, they decided to take care of the NCAA granted permission, and they're going to help the kid out, which I think is great, which I think needs to happen more often when you have Turner said in an interview that he's recently been living in a motel along with the car belonging to his girlfriend as he finishes up classes at Fullerton College in California. After graduating from Fullerton, the defensive tackle is scheduled to take summer classes at Boise State, where he will live in the dorm and have a meal plan. About Turner, he grew up in New Orleans and told the station his mom died of cancer when he was young, putting a strain on the relationship with his father. He moved around throughout his childhood. He said football helped him and that he brought a suitcase and a dream with him to California, but didn't have any money or help from his family back home. Gee, I can identify with that in a couple of ways. He lived wherever he could find. I thought I was going to get away from my problems, but they had just started, Turner told the station. About a year after I came out here, I actually couldn't take it no more. At one time, I had the feeling of suicide. I couldn't fight anymore. An uncle gave him a place to stay in government-subsidized housing until an issue with regulations recently arose. He's been sleeping in motels and everywhere ever since. Officials for Boise State said they didn't realize how bad things had gotten for Turner until the television report. They were in contact with him, but the football coaches had no idea he was homeless. Since the story broke, Boise State fans have been quick to offer food and shelter for Turner, but that could jeopardize his playing status. The school talked to the NCAA about it, and the governing body responded on its Twitter account by saying, quote, after Boise State's request last night, this was back in May, the school may provide immediate assistance to football student-athlete Antoine Turner, close quote. He had 34 tackles, 6 sacks. As a redshirt sophomore last year, he also had an interception. Good for him and good for Boise State. It's about time we had some good stories come out of college sports. It is about time that we had a story like this that has a good ending and another ending can help get him started. He graduated from Fullerton, and continuing on as we pick this up, this should be the ride of his life. Again, all this information courtesy of FoxSports.com and Boise State University. He said Turner said he wants to inspire. You know what? This is going, when everything gets situated with him, he is going to inspire a lot of people. He brought a suitcase and a dream, as I read earlier. A full grant aid provides Turner with tuition, housing, and food, and a chance to pursue his NFL dreams. They put him in a hotel meeting and provided him 3 meals a day. Boise State spokesman Max Corbett confirmed Thursday morning the school will pay for Turner's transportation to Idaho as soon as he completes his classes at Fullerton. You know what? We need more stories like this. Instead of recruits being out of line, instead of recruits taking things that they shouldn't, taking improper payments, when you have an extreme situation like this with a recruit that is homeless and had a family situation that kind of almost dealt him an impossible hand, Boise State reaches in and gives him a hand. I love this. This should be a lesson to everybody. There should be a lesson to everybody to never give up on what you believe in. He believes in his future as a football player. Boise State believed in him to the point where they went to the NCAA and said, look, we have a recruit. He's finishing up his classes, but he needs some help now. Can we help him? And the NCAA, and I'm so glad they said yes. When Turner was 4, he lost his mother to cancer. The floods of Hurricane Katrina when he was 12 uprooted his family from New Orleans' lower 9th Ward. You talk about 2 wild cards. Losing a parent to cancer, which I did when I lost my dad in 2007 to prostate cancer. Turner turned to the streets, ran with a bad crowd for a spell, but eventually found refuge in football at McDonough No. 35 High School in New Orleans. That is my best friend Alvin Washington's alma mater in New Orleans. He didn't have the grades to play at a 4-year college, so he opted for community college. He said Fullerton was the first school that popped up in his head. Turner said, quote, I had a feeling this was the college for me. I felt like God planned this out, planned all this out in an intricate way, and it all worked out, close quote. Man, and one quote, and I will use this personally, and I hope to follow this man's example. I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. He is a survivor, and now he's going to be playing at Boise State. Now he has a chance to improve. Now he has a chance to get better. Now he has a chance to improve his grades, to improve himself academically, to prove himself athletically, to prove himself in many ways that no one would ever give him a shot to do because he was homeless. Well, you know what? I applaud Boise State, and I applaud the NCAA for making this happen for a young man that had 2 impossible situations thrown at him. Losing a parent to cancer and a natural disaster called Hurricane Katrina. And his idol is all-pro defensive lineman John Randall. How's that for an idol? And Randall kind of had the same thing. Randall grew up poor in Texas and made the NFL Hall of Fame despite not being drafted. How about that for proof that dreams come true? Man, do dreams come true. No one realizes how much you can put into a dream. I'm not even going to do this story with John Elway's son because we need to feel good now, okay? We need a feel-good story, and this is the story. This is the story. And again, to have 2 wild cards thrown at you, losing a parent to cancer and being uprooted by a natural disaster, he didn't have a chance. According to a lot of people, he didn't have a chance in hell. Well, he does now. He does now. The best thing is, and I mean the absolute best thing, and it could help people so much, if either we or someone we knew would just give them a chance. That's it. We gave him a chance. You know how much that would, you know what that would do for someone's confidence? You know what that would do for someone's psyche if they would just give him a chance? For once, there's a good news story in sports, and I am glad to tell it. Again, all the information and the entire story, all the parts of it, is courtesy of FoxSports.com. Antoine Turner, I wish you well. I wish you great luck. I wish you great success. And again, kudos to Boise State for picking up the slack and giving him a chance. There's a shirt in front of me that says tacos and tequila. That's a lethal combination. Wait a minute. young lady has a shirt in front of me. We're at Starbucks in downtown Chicago here on the Arena Sports Network. You can find our website at arenasportsnet.com. There's a lady in front of me that has a shirt that says tacos and tequila. There is no way in hell I would put those two things together. And I will tell you why. Me being a big man, my tacos would be so loaded. They would be thick. They would be thicker than a chalupa, okay? They would be double the size of a chalupa. And then you want to combine that with tequila? I tried that on my 40th birthday, and I passed out and nearly didn't wake up in time to help my sister move. And that is my tequila story. I'm going to a break. When we come back, high school baseball report, including what we have on tap coming for you this Thursday from New Lenox, Illinois. And I made sure I got that right because I don't want Mark to beat me up before I go on air. This is the Afternoon Locker Room presented by LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? Back in the deuce.
When Mother Nature takes your dream away, Rich Construction can bring it back to stay. 5,000 properties have been restored by Rich Construction in over 35 years of service. Rich Construction works for the insurance settlement, acting as a connection between you and the insurance adjuster. They will protect your interests by preparing a detailed list and negotiating every item with the insurance adjuster. With over 35 years of experience, Rich Construction can begin restoration immediately once the insurance adjuster and Rich Construction agrees upon the estimated damages. Prior payment for the construction is not necessary, and no one can put you back in your home faster than Rich Construction. Contact John Crocker for your free consultation today. Give them a call at 219-322-9200. That's 219-322-9200. Rich Construction Company, fire and insurance restoration specialists. Let us take the burden off your shoulders.
Have you ever wanted your own phone app but thought it was too expensive? Here's something even better. The best custom mobile page QR system in the world, designed for smartphones, iPhones, and tablets. Have the business card of the future for our mobile world. It includes your own customizable mobile page with unlimited flexibility, your contact info, YouTube channel, videos, events, specials, audio, and more, all on your mobile page. Your own back office so you can make real-time, unlimited updates and changes as often and as much as you want. One code is all you will ever need as you change anything in real time from your back office. This is your business card on all ads, Facebook, t-shirts, flyers, and doorways everywhere. All of this for $99.90 a year plus a $3 payment fee. Visit www.qr2015.net for more information or call 312-802-1208. That's 312-802-1208. The future is in your hands. Call or visit online today.
Chow down with the Italian collection at Subway.
Delicioso.
Try the Mongeliz's Chicken Pizziola Melt, a fresh take on Italian with tender, juicy chicken, zesterific pepperoni, and plenty of our signature recipe marinara sauce.
Perfecto.
Mamma mia! And taste the amore with the Meatball Pepperoni Melt, a chicken combination of Italian-style meatballs and pepperoni on your favorite freshly baked bread. Only at Subway. And only for a limited time.
Don't miss out.
Subway. Eat fresh.
An ordinary sunny day, an ordinary family's living room filled with an ordinary bunch of kids, and they were doing nothing. They were couch slouching, they were rug imitating, and lazy minute after lazy minute was passing them by, when suddenly...
Huh? Hey guys, that's a personal foul. Inactive activity on a sunny day.
Coming to the rescue was NFL running back Reggie Bush.
Players don't get lazy penalties. Let's play.
Those kids, they listened to Reggie. They got up and play they did. There was fun and running. There were smiles and jumping. And laziness was crushed.
Hey kids, don't get a lazy penalty.
Kids, listen to Reggie and avoid lazy penalties. Be a player. Get up and play for an hour a day. Go online to check out smallstep.gov for fun playtime ideas.
So you can be a player too.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Be a player.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company Incorporated with a complete line of household appliances and Is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Gotta have this song. 17 after the second hour here on the Afternoon Locker Room, presented by Kukla's Cupcakes, taking gourmet cupcakes to the next level, and by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. And also by our media partner, LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? Oh, gracious. What a show that we've had today, even with all the problems that we've had. And we thank everybody for sticking with us. We thank you, and we love you for doing that. And you gotta have a little TNT. You gotta have a little TNT. This portion of the Afternoon Locker Room brought to you by the Illinois High School Association. Stay in the game. And that is what Mark Farina and I are going to do when we present the sectional round from Lincoln Way West this coming Thursday. And we start our party at 3:30 with the American Family Insurance pregame show to the first pitch at 4 with Lamont and Ileana Christian. And then we'll go back up at 6:25 with lineups. And 6:30 first pitch for Mantino and Morgan Park from Lincoln Way West Stadium. The two winners will meet Saturday morning for the sectional championship. All right, now time for our IHSA baseball report. We're going to take you back in time through Class 3A. And you're going to have to bear with us because we have a lot to get through. So we're going to stay in the Chicago area. And we'll start at Axi, where they shut out Country Club Hillcrest. This is the regional round. They shut them out 10-0. Hancock over Bogan, 14-5 at Hancock. Pritzker defeated Little Village, 11-6. Noble Street Charter defeated Orr, 6-3 at Orr. At Peyton, they defeated Mushin, 7-0. At UIC, they smashed Comer. Oh my gosh, 22-2 was the final score there. Prosser doubled up North Lawndale 4-2 in a high-scoring game. Urban Prep Charter of Bronzeville defeated South Shore 22-15, and Chicago Vocational outlasted Urban Prep Charter West. That final was 12-9. Now we're in Class 3A. We're staying in the Chicagoland area. At Amundsen, it's Amundsen over Sin 18-2. This is on the 27th of May. And at Rich South, Rich East defeated Rich South 14-10. Going back to the 28th, at Clemente, they defeated Noble Street Charter 11-3. It was Peyton over Corliss 6-0. Gordon Tech shuts out Amundsen 16-0 in 5. It was Latin over Urban Prep 11-0. Harlan defeated Noble Street UIC 4-3. De La Salle lights up Vocational 25-0 at University. University over High Park 23-2. Grays Lake Central over Antioch 11-0. And Morgan Park over Hancock by a final of 11-1. Our congrats to Morgan Park for winning the 2014 Chicago Public League Baseball Championship. We stay in Class 3A. RB over Elmwood Park at Clemente 11-5. Ronner defeated Perspectives 8-4. Jones over Lindblom 11-0. And Evergreen Park over Solorio by a final of 2-1. And at the Brooks Regional semifinal, it was Brooks over Urban Prep Charter. That final was 4-1. And now let's take a look at some regional championships in 3A. It was Gordon Tech defeating St. Patrick's 6-0. Harlan over Ronner 11-0. Latin over Jones 3-1. De La Salle over Chicago University 11-0. Morgan Park doubled up Evergreen Park 2-1 in their own championship. And at Brooks, it was Peyton over Brooks 7-2. So Brooks did not successfully defend their title. Now, the sectional round looked like this. At Brooks, it's De La Salle and Latin. They'll play at 7. These will be games on Thursday. At Glenbard South, it's Nazareth and Fenwick. Rock Island Allman at Metamora. Sacred Heart Griffin will take on Central. Notre Dame, Peoria and Notre Dame will host Morris. Mount Zion at University High Abnormal. Salem and Carbondale and Grays Lake Central and Woodstock. Those are your games on Thursday in Class 3A. Now, if you'll allow us a minute, we're going to take a peek at Class 4A. Now, Mark and I are going to follow the 3A and 4A championships. We're going to follow the 3A sectional all the way to its completion, and the 3 and 4A super sectional will play at Standard Bank Stadium in Crestwood for a second consecutive time. So we'll have all of that for you, and are we going to take a break? We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I think we're going to give this a wrap up, and we'll come back with our name of the day. This is something we always wanted to do, and we're borrowing this idea from a segment with the ASN Night Drive. So we'll put a bow on this in a couple minutes when we come back with our name of the day after this.
Upgrade your ride and lower your costs with a certified pre-owned vehicle from Sowers Ford. With a lower price and lower payments, you can lower your cost of driving in a vehicle that's new to you. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, 172-point inspection, 24-hour roadside assistance, and 3 months of SiriusXM satellite radio. 2.9% financing available to qualified buyers. You'll drive for less at Sowers Ford. Sowers Ford Lincoln, 3930 Franklin, Michigan City, 219-879-5381. Or visit us at SowersFord.com.
It began as a promise. Son, we're going on a road trip. That promise has lasted over 30 years. Our dream is to visit every national park in America. It's been thousands of miles, countless bumps along the way, but we'll just keep moving on, pursuing this amazing dream.
Visit DrastichAgency.com or call 219-945-3040 and ask Joel Drastich how you can get all of your insurance under one roof.
Barney's Pizza is one of the newest and best pizza places on Chicago's South Side. Located on the corner of 111th and Halsted, Barney serves great food at low prices every day, like buffalo wings, salads, hot Italian subs and sandwiches, plain broiled steak burgers, and of course, Chicago-style pizza. You can also enjoy Austin Blues barbecue choices such as the pulled pork sandwich, rib tips, Texas hot links, and much more. Come on into Barney's today and you can enjoy this special offer. If you buy one thin crust pizza, you can get a second pizza for half price, or our game day special, $2 off a 24-inch pizza. Don't wait. Try Barney's today. Call 773-672-5100. That's 773-672-5100. Barney's Pizzeria on the corner of 111th and Halsted on Chicago's South Side. Great food and low prices every day.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and It's a lady in the house, then. What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Ready to put a wrap on this bad boy? As we gave you 90 minutes of a good sports show, we're improving as we go along here from Starbucks in downtown Chicago. Second half of today's show brought to you by Kukla's Cupcakes, taking gourmet cupcakes to the next level. Visit kuklascupcakes.com or call 773-672-9751. We're also brought to you by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. Starbucks, stop in and get your favorite drink, including your favorite Frappuccino, but please don't make it 128 ounces. That would just put anybody into a coma. Starbucks of downtown Chicago. Okay. Going to borrow an idea from my buddy Alvin Washington. He has a segment at the end of the Night Drive, and you can hear the Night Drive every night at 11 p.m. Eastern, called Cheddar, talking about strange names, people, team names, everything like that. Well, I got one of my own, and it's one of my favorites of all time. And I can't believe I'm going to talk about this. Someone didn't believe this name existed, and for a while when I heard it, I didn't think it existed. There's a high school in central Illinois, Hoopston to be exact. It's spelled Hoopston with an E, but it's pronounced Hoopston. Okay? Now, Producer Sherry is tuned in. She's got her ear to the. she's ready for the name of the day. A lot of people are ready for the name of the day. If you got an idea for a nickname of a person or a team, tweet us at Afternoon Locker Room and at Arena Sportsnet to let us know what it is. Okay, here it is. There's a town called Hoopeston, Illinois. I've spoken about this before on the morning show. But their high school team nickname is the Hoopeston Corn Jerkers. Now, this is... Yes, that's an actual name, the Hoopeston Corn Jerkers. Now, I decided to look this up, even though it sounded so wrong. It sounded so wrong, but this is the definition I got. In times before modern machinery, sweet corn was pulled or jerked from the stalk. The leaves were then shucked off, and the golden ears were thrown into a wooden wagon pulled by a team of mules. This was corn jerking. In other parts of the United States, this harvesting process may have been known as corn snapping or corn shucking or corn husking, hence Nebraska, the corn huskers. The many laborers who walked the fields to harvest the crops were called corn jerkers. There's a young lady with an Oklahoma City Thunder shirt on. Why she's wearing that Thunder shirt when they lost, I don't know. But talking about the name of the day, we're in Hoopeston, Illinois, central Illinois, and their team name is the Hoopeston Corn Jerkers. I just gave oh man, her face just turned beet red when I said that. But it's an actual process. The laborers who walked the fields way back in the day were called corn jerkers, and now that's the name of the high school in Hoopeston, Illinois. Hoopeston has long been known as the sweet corn capital of the world. In the 1920s, the term corn jerker was first applied to the athletic teams of the school, just as the Pittsburgh Steelers got their name from that town's steel mills. Bob Poisal, a sports writer for the Commercial News in Danville, Illinois, is credited with first coining the team name. From the information available, the name was a joke that stuck. Now, anyone who's listened to our program on ASN, whether we're in studio or on the road, we love talking about this particular name, the Hoopeston Corn Jerkers. Folks, it's the 21st century. We know there's a legitimate definition behind it, but y'all know people are sick. Y'all know people have sick minds, including this young man off to my right. Y'all know people have absolutely sick brains, including this host right here, and I'm totally joking as I do this. But how wrong does it sound? Okay, imagine you're in Hoopeston, Illinois, a small town in central Illinois. I'd say about an hour and a half away from Champaign. And they ask you what your team nickname is. Oh, we're the Corn Jerkers. You cannot tell me you're not going to be met with A, some funny opposition, and B, some weird looks from people looking at you going, you're a what? And C, not to mention the young men that are there. I am totally joking as I say this, folks. I am totally kidding around as I say this. The folks that are there hear the name Corn Jerker. You can't tell me their brains won't go upside down if they don't look. I will say this: if they don't look up the history of the name. I was one of them until I looked it up. But what would the look on your? Imagine playing football, and you had to play somebody that had a regular name like a Tiger or a Wildcat. Or anybody, or anything like that. Well, who are we playing? We're playing the Corn Jerkers. We're what? How wrong is that? Playing a team named the Corn Jerkers. Now, again, I will say there is some there is some absolute truth to that. There is an actual name. I just read the definition. Oh, gracious. That, folks, is our name of the day. And our name of the day is brought to you by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. And Joshua Jackson, my brother from another mother, said the best question, what the hell is a corn jerker? My producer, My producer, Sherry, just says, are you kidding? Wait till y'all hear the one I have tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, we'll be live from Bar Louie in downtown Chicago. Folks, Sherry, JJ, I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. And speaking of Joshua Jackson, he's going to be on with me on Friday during the second half of the show with our Broadcaster Tales premiere. And boy, I know he's got a couple of great tales for you, as do I. That'll be the second half of Friday's show. We are presented by LaporteCountyLife.com and also by Starbucks of downtown Chicago. We hope that you enjoyed it. As we enjoy bringing it to you, we will be back tomorrow for another afternoon locker room edition from downtown. For everyone that's involved, including Brian Payon and Sherry Lynn, my producers, my name is Brian Snow. Find us on ArenaSportsNet.com. Goodbye, and God bless everybody.